Can you clap your hands for me? Good job. All right guys, so as you can see behind me, we've made a ton of progress on the truck within the past few weeks. Who are we kidding? It's been months since I got the camera out. Whole front of the truck is back together. We got the grill on, the bumper on, the hood, everything's back together. The only thing we have left to do is to put the big tires on, and as you can see, I got them out. When we moved, there was a lot of, panicking and like, what are we gonna do with all this crap? Because this truck stuff, it takes up a lot of real estate. And when you're selling a house, you really don't wanna have like a ton of truck tires sitting around. It doesn't really scream curb appeal. So a lot of this stuff ended up in my parents' house. They stored it for us. And then like a month or two after we got moved in, my dad was like, hey, come get your crap from our house. And for whatever reason at the time, I was like, all right, let's go get these tires and let's just throw them in the woods. So there's like this logging road that goes out back, and so we hauled them out there and left them in the woods. It has done nothing but rain this summer here. In the month of July, it rained like 25 of however many days there are in July. So it rained a lot, which posed a problem because my logging road turned into a swamp, and so I had to get creative, but we were able to get them drug out of the woods without too much excitement. Had a slight rollover, but don't worry, I'm okay. So we got them out, and from sitting and whatnot, they were not in the greatest of shape. I painted them before I put them on, but I just used regular spray paint. So we went ahead and wire wheeled them, the insides at least. I think I'm gonna do the outsides, but I think I'm gonna do it once they're on the truck. That way, like I'll paint the lug nuts and like everything. I got new lug nuts and new studs, which was something that they suggested doing when I originally put these tires on. The wheel adapters came with an instruction sheet that said, we highly recommend that you change out your studs, and I did not. So we're doing that this time. So we got the insides of all the rims painted. I took this one off because the tire was really dry rotted on the outside. So I'm gonna flip that around so when I get it inspected, he's less likely to notice that it's like really dry rotted. Yeah, once we get that done, I got the appointment to get it inspected on Friday. Subaru's broken. We're doing head gaskets on that, and I've royally screwed that up. Saturday, my van was broken. The brakes were grinding, and it's a good time to be a vehicle here in Drew Man's Driveway. I'm gonna put some air in these tires. I'm gonna get this back one on since I already took the old one off, and I already changed out the studs. So we'll slap one of those on, get the truck backed out of the garage. We'll change out the rest of them, do all the studs, all the wheels on, blow them up, and hope that it still fits in the garage when we're done. It's gonna be real tight. We might have to let some air out of the tires, I don't know. I gotta clean off the back of the truck too. We got a lot of stuff there. Let's get to it. Go try it. Here. Alright guys, so as you can tell, truck's made a lot of progress. It's out of the garage, which is weird. The garage seems so much bigger with it out here. Tonight will actually be the first time since we moved into this house that the truck has spent a night outside. It's gonna be okay. You'll be just fine. So obviously I've made some progress off camera here. Not gonna lie to you guys, I did take it for a little test drive. So I got the TCM all wired up. Jason, he hooked into I hooked up to it, and then he remotely accessed my computer. The cat and the Allison weren't talking to each other, which he said was no surprise, because originally we were gonna use the J1939 data link because it's kind of the easiest route to go. They just kind of talk to each other and tell each other what they need to know. So I had Cat hook up to it and change a couple of settings. They had to turn on the 1939 as well as change some transmission settings to change it from the manual style Allison to an electronically controlled Allison. So now the two are talking to each other. Jason said go ahead and take it for a test drive. Yeah, so with two lug nuts tight on each wheel, my original plan was just to go to the end of the road and come back, and then I was like, I only made it into second gear. So I went to the other end of the road and I got to the end and I was like, I don't know, it feels pretty good. And I don't know if we even made it into third yet. Ended up being about a 5-mile trip. everything went good. No major issues. The one thing that I do have an issue with is my cooling fan. I mentioned to you guys that I tied into an output from the ECM, one of the spare outputs, and I was going to have it programmed to turn on when the engine was running. Mine is a 99. It's one of the older 3126s, and basically the way it was explained to me is you probably can, but in order to utilize that function, I would have to update my ECM. So mine was the only outputs you could see were the 3 that were in use. I don't even think you could change them from what they were. You could just turn those functions on or off. So basically what I was told is I would have to update the ECM to the newer software. And when you do that, Cat at one point, I guess, changed some emission stuff. And with the new update comes some new fuel mapping. And I guess like it makes a noticeable difference in power. And we only got 190 horse, so they told me that it would be tough, but it wouldn't be impossible to like update the software and then reload my old tune. But it just started sounding like a whole lot of work for not much reward. And I kind of explained why I wanted to go that route with my cooling fans, but I came up with a solution. It's not the best solution. I think that the engine running output would have been way better, but I found this online on Amazon. I'll leave a link to it in the description. This is just a multi-function timer, and this thing does a ton of different things. Like you could use this for so many different things. What I'm using it for is a time delay. So you can set this up for different time delays. You could have it for an on delay or an off delay. You can program it for 0.4 of a second delay, all the way up to 400 days, which I don't know why you'd want something to turn on every 400 days, but hey, whatever. So basically we're going to use this, and we're going to use an ignition output. So as soon as I start the truck, it'll start the timer, and I set it for, I think it's set for like 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So after 2 minutes and 15 seconds, this will send power and energize the relay that was going to be engine run. That way, you know, when you turn the key on and you're waiting for the grid heater to heat up, your fans aren't running, you know, or if you're just sitting there with the key on for a second talking to someone or whatever, you know, your fans aren't going to be drawing down your battery. You got 2 minutes and 15 seconds until they come on, which should be, you know, enough time for the grid heater, but not too much time as to where it might cause an issue. And then once this kicks that relay on, the ECM will have control over when the fans come on and off. And there was a number of reasons that I went that route with controlling the fans. The ECM monitors like a ton of different things. Intake temperatures. If you had an exhaust brake, I think it would activate the fans. You can also do your AC so that the ECM will kick the fans on and off when your AC compressor runs and that kind of stuff. Whereas if I'd gone with like a manual temperature switch that just, you know, closed when the radiator got hot, I wouldn't have those other functions. So yeah, I kind of didn't really trust this when it showed up. The programming is a little bit next level. Basically, you have a ground, you have your power coming in, you have your load going out, you have a trigger wire and then 2 program wires. And it's like the type of thing where like you ground these 2 program wires, power it up, and you can buy like a switch panel for this too, like that you can push buttons instead of touching wires together, but I didn't want to spend the extra $8. And it's just blue wire. I don't really know what that is. The instructions were kind of hard to read, but it's made in the USA. I've had it sitting on my bench over here with this LED light, and every couple times a day, I would disconnect it and reconnect it, and every time I came out, the light was on, so I think it'll work just fine. So we're gonna go ahead and get this wired in. Shouldn't be too difficult. We'll have to pull the fuse box back out, tie into a few different wires here, and should be good to go. So I think I mentioned before I put the big wheels on, I'm changing out the studs. This was recommended in the instruction sheet that came with the wheel adapters that I got. It said that they highly recommend you change out your studs. At the time, I didn't have the money for it. I still don't have the money for it, but we're making it work. So I went ahead and ordered all new lug nuts, all new studs, and I've just had an awful time with this. It seems that anymore, no one wants to do the legwork to find parts. You know, if the computer doesn't give them the right part right off the bat, they don't have it and they can't get it. And even if they find the right one and it's not in stock, they don't, like, half the time these places aren't even like, I can have it for you Thursday. No, there's none of it. Well, there's one, you know, the other side of the state, but sorry, man. One big thing I've noticed is they've all seemed to change their websites too. Like, I used to be real good at finding like parts, but I can go on their website and I can just, you know, and find what I needed and then just, either order it online or go in and say, hey, I need this part number. Anymore, it seems like all their websites are just awful to use. Like I can't find anything anymore on their websites. Anyways, ordered studs all the way around. They showed up and they looked right for the front, but the rears were completely wrong. So I returned half of them, got the correct ones for the rear, went to do the fronts, popped them out, and the ones that they sold me were completely wrong. And I tried like a ton of different parts places, and every single one of them was like, well, that's the one the computer shows, so that's got to be the right one. Once again, went on to the Bricknose Ford forum or whatever, and they hooked me up with a part number. We got the right studs, and in case you're wondering, if you have a 91 F350 four-wheel drive dually with the Dana 60 Kingpin, your front studs are 610-300, the Dorman part number, and the lug nuts are 611-092. I was pretty disappointed too. I opened up my box of lug nuts and one of them was missing the flange, so I took it back and they had nothing. They didn't have a single one left. Yeah, that was pretty disappointing. So I'm short one lug nut, so I got to reuse one. I figured, maybe you guys would want to watch me pull these studs in. Maybe you've never pulled the studs in yourself. I honestly don't know if I'm even doing it right, but I'm doing it. They haven't fallen out yet. I actually learned from he was a friend of mine. I had a tire fall off of my old Nissan Frontier. Some of you guys will remember that old truck, but I got a flat, put the spare on, and I don't know if we just didn't tighten the lug nuts or if the rim was just so rusty that as we started driving, the rust, I don't know. I got a flat, pulled over, and somehow a friend from school ended up right behind me, and he pulled over and helped me, and he's like, we tightened all those. But anyways, driving down the road 55 miles an hour, all of a sudden it goes and all of a sudden my tire goes bouncing by me down the middle of the road. Went out into some farmer's pasture. The cows were going crazy, and he wasn't a very nice guy either. I tell you what, if you let a tire go at 60 miles an hour, it goes a long ways. Glad there was a field there, not like a house or something, because it went a long ways. So anyways, that destroyed my studs, and we limped it back up to my buddy's house and got some new studs, and this was the method that we used. Pull them in. So these are your studs. They have a little spline there on the back side, and that's called your shoulder. So to get the old ones out, you just hit them really hard with a hammer. Try not to hit this piece because that's aluminum, that'll probably break. And then you slide the new one in. I didn't want to use the lug nuts, so I found these ones are 9/16 18. So I just found a nut that was 9/16 18, and then take a stack of washers. I like to use 4, seems to work good. And the washers just give like a little bit of, I don't know what I'm looking for, but they help the, because the nut has to spin, but the flange is stationary, so the washers will kind of spin against each other, and it kind of helps break the friction up a little bit and keeps it from destroying the nut and keeps it from destroying your flange here, your spindle, whatever you want to call it. You can do these by hand. I did them the other night when my kids were sleeping. It's a little harder on the front end because I don't have a drive shaft in, and this will spin on you. So we're using the Thunder gun. It's kind of, ooh, that's hot. Every time it's hot. I don't know why I thought it would change. It's kind of a fine line, because you don't want to go too tight, because once it gets in there, then you're starting to stretch your stud, so you don't want to over torque it and possibly damage the stud, but you want to get it in all the way, because if you don't, as you're driving down the road, it might suck in that last, 16th of an inch and give a little bit of So I usually just watch the back side here, and you can kind of see the gap on the back close up, and when you can't see light through it anymore, then you watch the socket, and you can kind of hear it change tones a little bit. Once it stops sucking in, it gets a little harder to turn. You also want to make sure that your gun's going the right way when you start this off, because that sucks. I've done that like 10 times. You put it on there and hit reverse and spins your nut off really fast. Oh yeah. Oh, it's hot still. Golly. All right. We're ready to put the big old tire on. Exciting things. We gotta go up for some reason. I think I got a bad ball joint or something. call for red Loctite on these when you put them on. The adapter plates anyways. Call for the red Loctite. You guys got me all distracted. Usually I put a little bit of oil in there. These can be a pain to set the bead on. They're really easy to break the bead on. You just let the air out of it and it just falls right off, which is cool. They can be a pain to get to set the bead because they're so hard and thick and whatnot. So I found the best ways to put it on the truck, take all the weight off of it, take the valve core out, and then just slam this on there, and that puts way more air to it than chuck will. It usually seats pretty quick like that. My spiky lug nuts are in the way. Nice and easy. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna fit in the garage. All right, guys, so we're all set up here in the truck. I think we're gonna go for our first official test drive. I got the proper tires on, all the lug nuts are tight, everything's torqued down. I think we are pretty much ready to go. I'm getting the laptop set up so that we can run a data log. All right, it's recording. Let's fire it up and let's hit the road. There's a block of wood behind my tire. All right, we have no inspection sticker. We have an expired registration. Just ran out last month though. I'm sure the cops never heard that one before. So we're gonna at least put our seatbelt on. All right. Let's hit the road. And try not to back into my van. So I get quite a few questions about what this right here is on the frame. That is me being lazy. This is the camera I use to film most everything. It is a 360 cam, which means it has a 180-degree lens on this side, 180-degree lens on this side, and it basically captures 360 degrees. There's a small part here where they call it stitch zone between the two lenses, and it's able to cut out the camera as well as the pole that I'm holding it on. There is a cover here for your SD card because this is the action camera, so it is waterproof. And this cover here is a pain to get on and off with this cover on, or with the case on it. So half the time I just leave it open. And when it dangles just right, like that, you end up seeing it in the frame. Camera's not broken, I'm just being lazy. And actually I noticed it, and I've since tried to remedy that, so my apologies that that's in the shot. much about EFI Live, but I've screwed it up now at least once. So this is still not working properly. Please stand by. I can't figure that out. There's something wrong with it. Probably the guy that's running it. So we're just going to continue on our test drive and hope for the best. You guys stuck?
I just fucking right to the side, man. We're getting ready to pull the tubes, and I just slid right down. You got a tow strap?
I got a ratchet strap. Maybe that would work.
If you can get it out, I'll go to ATM. I'll pay you.
Nah, I
don't mind paying you for it. Seriously.
It's fine.
You're fucking awesome, brother.
Yeah,
awesome.
let me see if I can get set up. You want to hook it to something?
Where do you want to go to? The fucking,
something that looks strong, probably.
Yeah.
Not the bumper.
Not the bumper.
Not a whole lot to hook onto.
I know. Man, I really did it this time. All right.
No, it's fine.
Seriously, it's awesome. What's your name?
Drew.
Drew, I'm Mike, man. Dude, you sure you can't let me run down the road and get some money?
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're awesome, bro. I appreciate you so much, brother.
Happy to help out.
You're a good man. Thank you, boss.
The truck didn't even have to work for it. I didn't even hit the gas. It just idle.
That thing's awesome. That thing is awesome, brother.
It's the second time it's left the house in 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank God for that. That's awesome. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good night, guys. So that was pretty funny. First official test drive. And driving down the road, and there's a couple of guys laying down the counter strips to count vehicles. Had his van right in the ditch, just right in the ditch. I was like, that doesn't look right. So swung back around, hardly even touched the gas. Just idled her right out of there. So, look at that. Not even inspected or hardly registered, and we're already using it to work. Ah, this thing's sweet. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. We had a successful first drive. The truck shifted okay. Still got a lot of work to do with the tuning stuff. It shifts pretty hard right now. It just kind of slams into the next gear. I've been told that that's just part of the adaptive shift stuff. So as the Allison kind of learns, it'll get smoother and smoother, which I have kind of noticed. It already has started to smooth out a little bit. So there you go. We're getting somewhere here. Truck has made a lot of progress. Definitely awesome to be driving it once again down the road. Hopefully soon it'll pass inspection. We can get the registration sticker and have it legal, and we'll be good to go. In the next video, we're gonna try to fit it into the garage. It looks pretty tight. I don't know if it's gonna fit, but we're gonna try to fit it in the garage. Maybe we'll throw the kids in the truck, take them for a quick ride. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands, but like, they're here, you know? Now they're not. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, you've never seen the videos, never seen this awesome Caterpillar F350, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any videos. I know I've been kind of sporadic with uploads, so I do apologize about that, but you know, life, it happens. So, hope you guys are having a fantastic week. We'll see you in the next one.